Greetings, Army and YouTube family. It's your buddy Choppadong. I'm going to throw a quick edition of laddering at you with another version of ChopTalk here today, brought to you by DFSArmy.com, the one-stop shop for everything DFS, from coaching, content, tools, lineup optimization, everything you can possibly imagine for DFS is covered inside DFSArmy.com. Down there in the comments section, of course, you'll see the link. You'll see the code CHOP, CHOP. That triggers a 10% off discount. I encourage you, jump in, take a look at us. Hopefully you stick around for a long, long time and you realize that you're going to invest in your own game. You're going to get better as a result. What we're going to talk about today, if you haven't, I'll also throw a link down there for an article or a video and article that I did a long time ago called Ladder Up. And laddering is I guess, a term for contest selection and bankroll allocation that I kind of did myself several years ago. I got sick and tired of doing really, really well in the 50-50s and only getting double my money, and or running only GPPs and finishing outside of the top 20% and getting nothing for it. I figured there's got to be something to fill that gap in between the 50-50s and the GPPs that will allow me to kind of once I cross a money line, there's another one not too far away. And then there's another one not too far away, and another one not too far away. And as I climb the ladder, so to speak, I keep unlocking more and more money, from 2x to 3x to 5x to 10x and beyond. And basically, I'm always reaching the maximum ROI that particular lineup could have returned. And the specific allocations that we use are pretty simple, really. Let me call up this little graphic here. And what you'll see is that the majority of our money is going to go down here in the base of the safer contest, from head-to-heads to 50-50s. Double ups, I don't do double ups personally anymore because they carry a little bit higher rake than the head-to-heads and the 50-50s. It's about a 2% higher rake, and I can show you the math someday if you're a VIP inside DFS Army. But what I'm really focused on is the 50-50s. I know they're not guaranteed contests. Where I will use a double up is really close to lock, when these guaranteed contests will run anyway, even if they don't fill. 50-50s have to fill before they run. If you one or two people short, the whole thing craps out on you and it doesn't run. The double ups will run regardless, and I will use those really, really close to lock when I can find some overlay in them. When, say, there's 100 people and there's really only 75 in there, now I can still place in the top 50 of the 100 and get paid. But if there's only 75 people in there, I really can place in the top 50 of 75 people. And instead of half the people paying double, it becomes maybe 2/3 of the people getting paid double. That increases my safety and increases my ability to cash them. They don't happen too often because the sites are really, really good these days at getting around that and predicting what will fill in terms of contests, or not opening up new ones within a certain time before lock. But I do use those when I do find them. Triple ups are, to me, also cash games. Top third pays, and that pays triple. So you would think top 33% pays me 3 times my money. It's a break-even proposition. It's kind of like a roulette wheel, in that the double, zero, and the zero are what wind up screwing your otherwise true odds. The triple ups pay, I think it is top 20 something percent, top 29, top 30, for whatever it is. There's a rake in there. Quintuple ups are the same way. Instead of paying top 20% a true 5x, they pay the top 18% or so, and it's still basically top 20%. And I use those as top half, top third, top 20%, and then the 100-man league I put up at the top of mine. You can use GPPs up there too, because once you get into the top 20%, once you get into the quintuple up, you're cashing in this one too. You don't have very much further to go in a 100-man league before you win it and release 25x. However, on a bigger scale on the GPPs, sky's the limit. You go as high as you want to go. Once you're in that top 20%, people worry about, hey, how come the top 20% here only min cashes me? It doesn't help my ladder. Yeah, it did, because you'd already unlocked all of this stuff along the way. So let me show you a couple of different ladders that you can use in that allocation. You want to keep about 80% of your budget. Let's use, say, 10 bucks as an example, and you want to build a lineup for 10 bucks. And 80% of it you want to put in your cash games. That means 80%, $8, is going to go down in here. And the other $2 will go up into these. So where I would use it for a 2-man or a 10-man or a $10 lineup is very, very simply put, $5 in the head-to-head or the 50-50. Why? Because if I cash it, I get back theoretically double my money. I get back, well, I get $9 in a 50-50 or a head-to-head at $10 in a true double up. But I'm really getting back almost all of what I spent. So that 5 becomes $9. So if I miss everything else, I've only lost $1. If you wanted to put 6 in there, get back $11 or whatever, you make $1. Okay, so it's not really the math isn't too terribly important, but you want to keep the weight here. Think of your whatever your budget is: $2, $10, $100, $1,000. Half of it goes in head-to-heads and 50-50s. Okay, or double ups if you use them. Then, and the standard answer there is the largest single entry contest you can find. I don't want to get into the multi-entry double ups where I can find a train of 50 people, 50 lineups by the same dude, the same lineup. That's crap. That clogs things up. They do that on purpose to shorten the player pool so that they increase their chances of win. I don't even mess with those guys. Get bent. What I'm looking for is a lot of individual lineups. That's going to smooth out my variance. It's going to allow me to realize the strength of my lineup over a larger sample, and it's going to be a little bit more true representation of where I am. I'm going to take some of the inherent volatility ups and downs of who I match up against. Did I get lucky? Did I get unlucky? I'm going to get that out of there. The head-to-heads, I tell people, if you can take on 10 or more, I prefer 20 or more, then use head-to-heads. That's fine. But if I only played 3 head-to-heads, 2 of those 3 guys I might post a score of 320 in NBA, and I might run up against a 321 and a 330. And even though my lineup was great that night, and even though my lineup probably was in the top third of lineups or top, 10% even of lineups, I probably just screwed myself because I got unlucky with the guys that I was facing. If I spread that out over a larger sample size, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 people, I'm going to smooth out that volatility of there are going to be some guys that whip my butt, and there are going to be some guys that even on a bad night, I still whip theirs. That's okay. I'm going to eventually realize the true strength of my lineup across the sample size, if that makes sense, and I'm going to smooth out that variance. So when I'm looking at the triple up, same thing. Largest single entry contest I can find. If it's 50 people, fine. If it's 150 people, fine. As long as there's only one entry allowed, and I've got several people, and it's not just a 3-man. I will use 3-man leagues or 10-man leagues in a pinch in this area, but that's when I can't find the other triple ups. I would prefer those. Quintuple ups, same thing. I'm going to try and find those where I can, but if I can't, I will use a 5-man league. Because, again, I win the 5-man league. I needed a top 20% lineup to beat 4 out of those 5 guys. And it became, essentially, I've got a shot at winning that league if I don't run up against an unlucky lineup. And you can win it on lower scores, too, because maybe you run up against a couple of lucky lineups. There's more volatility and more variance in there. And then, like I said, the 100-man league is the top of my league, is the top of my pyramid. So showing that sample, let's dive into Fanduel here really quick. And let's start flashing some lineups. Let's see if we can find them in the NBA. You're going to find them more often on the main slates than you are the smaller slates. Occasionally you will find them on the smaller slates. And what I mean by them is I'm looking more for the triple ups, the multipliers. That would be this category right here. I would tell you this too about NBA specifically. Where are the triple doubles? Let's sort this by entry fee. Where's the triple doubles suck, man. I'll show you the math on this really quick. If I go into the prize pool, 200 out of 568 get double their money back, right? Should be 50%, right? At least that's what it would be in a 50-50. Wrong, 35%. So 15% of you get screwed. You deserved your money back in a 50-50, but you didn't get it back in this contest because you basically played a bad contest. When I look at the next one, top 100 get back triple their money. Ooh, big freaking deal. 100 divided by 568 people means 17% of me got back triple. When I can play in a triple up and 30% of us can get triple our money back, that's another 13% of us that just got screwed. Stay out of these contests. They're terrible. They don't reward you. They don't reward you what you deserve. This is all of the money going towards the house, to be honest with you, or a lot of it anyway. It's just an overly screw job. Can't stand those contests. And I see people play them because they think they get the double up and triple up all wrapped into the same contest when really all you're taking is the sandpaper hot dog up your butt. Don't do it to yourself. It's not comfortable. When I look at quintuple up, see this one's a multi-entry. I won't be in that one. Why would I want to be in this entry where somebody can put 15 lineups in there against me and shoot up 15% of the player pool with his own lineup? Yes, it's fine if he loses, but it's not fine if he wins, because if he wins, you're just chewing up tons and tons and tons of space, and it makes it harder for everybody else to get in the money with you. So get out of those. What you're going to want to play is you're going to want to play down here the single entry, double up not so much, triple up yes. Is there a quintuple up? Doesn't look like it. So your quintuple ups, your only option is these multi-entry crap loads, man. No. So in this case, I would get out of these I wouldn't play the quintuple up in NBA. I would play maybe a 5-man league or something in its place, because I already know there's an inherent disadvantage against me in that contest, and I'm not going to set myself up for failure. I'm going to set myself up for success. So I would go, if I had 10 bucks, I would go down here and I would say start with a $5 100-man, largest one I can find. I'm not going to play in these little $20 ones, right? 20-man ones. I'm going to play in a 100-man $5 league, and that would be my first $5 of my $10 ladder. I would come up here into the multiplier. I might take that triple up because that made sense. And then I would probably go in here into the 3 to 100-man leagues, and I would probably go down here into these 100-mans, or these 5-mans. I would take one here and one here, or something like that. But I will oftentimes also double check the payouts, make sure it's winner take all, because sometimes you find somebody set these up to pay. This is stupid. This is just a no-risk cash game. This is just passing money around back and forth among people, and you're really just making Fanduel rich. You're not doing anything for yourself. You win a 5-man league and you get $2. The people that are doing this, let's get out of these and let's get back on track and let's find a better contest that we want to find. We want the winner take all. Okay, and so we're going to have to watch some of these. But I would say look at this one, and I would look at these guys here. X bottom, South Pole, bomb get, whatever, water maker. And then I'm going to come down here to say this one, and I'm going to see big host South Pole again. Okay, I might avoid this contest because I don't want to put my same lineup in there with that guy. Otherwise, if I was doing that, I'd probably want to play him for $2, right? South Pole again. I'm going to try and find somebody without, now that one maybe would work. If those two were not in that top one, I'd go hit this one and then go hit this top one, plink, plink, and then I would be done with that. And I would have exposure to two completely different quintuple ups, or two completely different. I've got a good chance at winning one of them if I don't win the other one, if I get unlucky. It's in these other ones, if that one South Pole guy is the one that ends up beating me in one, he's going to beat me in the other as well. Okay? So these are just little things to monitor. Now as I scroll up and hit these 100-mans, that's what I'm trying to find here. And I don't mind that these are multi-entry. They're only 3 max, tournaments. That's not that big of a deal. I'll throw all 3 of my lineups in the same one. But that's a standard $10 ladder. I've got 80% of my money, $8 in cash games, 50-50s, triple up, and then a little bit of the quintuple up or the 5-man. That one kind of blends. I win them with cash lineups all the time. And then it puts a buck or two into the 100-man league, and the quintuple up's kind of a GPP as well, kind of a blend contest. So I've kind of got my 80% in cash, my 20% in GPP lineups already covered across the ladder. If I just hit the 50-50, I trigger all of the money back that I spent. I get back $9 or more if I put that $6 in a 50-50. I get back all of my money and then some, and then the rest of the climb up the ladder is gravy. It's unlocking profit, 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 profit as I go. That's the idea. And my goal is to build a lineup that gets into the top 20%, gets up into those quintuple ups quite often, and then that's going to unlock the cash games. I'll grind up through the 50-50s, and then I will end up cashing some triple ups, and I will start making some money, start growing my bankroll. If you wanted to, you could overweight those 50-50s, put $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 in those, and then put $2 in a quintuple up or $2 in a triple up or whatever. I just tend to do 50% in 50-50s, 20% in triple ups, 20% in 5-man or quintuple ups, 10% in GPPs, where I prefer 50-50s, but head-to-heads are the same if you're using volume, 10, 20 head-to-heads. Double ups I don't use. In the triple up area, 3-mans, 10-man leagues. 10-man leagues pay the same as a triple up in that they pay the top 30%. 1, 2, 3. They don't pay it differently. It's weighted. It's top heavy, right? But it's okay. It works kind of the same. You're going to win your fair share of those. I say that 20-mans are typical. They're just like 100-mans in that the top, say, 15% pay, where it's top 12% in a 100-man. But the winner in a 20-man is a top 5% lineup. 1 divided by 20 is 5%. If I produce a top 5% lineup across the industry, and it has a shot at winning 20-man leagues, my issue there is it only pays, $10, where I'm only 3 or 4 places away from winning a 100-man league that pays $25. I'd rather do that. So that's just kind of how I feel about these contests. If I had a larger budget, $100, the first thing I would do is I would come down here to the 50-50s, actually $100. I'd probably take 50, $60 or so, and I'd throw it in head-to-heads. And if I did that, let's say I took $50 and put it in head-to-heads. I would come over here and I would start searching for players to play against. Just bang, 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 bang. I'd just load up on. I wouldn't take this guy all 4 of his lineups. I would take, 1 from everybody. And the one thing I typically try and do, guys that put in big volume are generally not rookie players. So I kind of try to stay on guys that have lower numbers next to their names. 3, 4, 5, whatever's fine. 10s are not so good. Let's go down here, 17, 13, 14. Probably not going to take on those guys. Okay, I'm going to go cherry picking the others if I can. Set your own contests is okay too in small amounts, but I'm going to chew up my head-to-heads that way. Now I'm going to take my, say, I don't know, 10 to 20% of that 50%. So if I took $50 and put it in head-to-heads, or $50 out of my 100 and put it in head-to-heads and 50-50s, I'd probably take $40 of it and run 40 head-to-heads, and then I would probably, from there, take $10 of it and throw it in a $10 50-50. Get a little bit of exposure to that as well. Now, I would take out of $100, $20 would go in triple ups. Well, they don't offer those, I don't believe. So I would have to come down here and take as much of the triple ups as I could find. It's a $10 triple up, right? No, double up, triple double. Geez, they still run these crappy contests. $10 triple up, boom. Next one's probably $25. Triple double, 25. Double up, triple up for 25. So $20 is my budget. I can't quite do the $25 triple up. And it's not very big anyway. What is it? 25 people. I'd rather it be a little bit bigger. I'd take the $10 triple up for 68 people. And then what's at 10? And I want 20. I'd probably take the $5 triple up. And then I'd probably take the $2 triple up. And that would leave me about $3. I'd probably go take 3 3-mans, or a $2 10-man league and a 3-man league or something like that. And I'd put it in those types of contests the best I can. Then I would do the same thing with the quintuple ups. I would look for a $10 quintuple up. Right there, single entry. And I'd go in there. And from there, I would probably get into the other 10 would, another $5 quintuple up, a $2, if it's not multi-entry. And then I would probably fill in the rest with 5-man leagues or something like that. And then I've got $10 left over for GPPs. And that's where the fun goes. I could put it all in a 100-man league if I wanted to for $10. They've got them. 10-man league for $100 if I wanted to. Or I could do a 5. Where's the $5 100-man? Here. I could do 5 in there, or I could do 2 or whatever. And I could break up that $10 budget and I could sprinkle it out. I could come all the way out in here into these GPPs, and I could look for $1 or $2, or I could look for, maybe a $10 GPP if I wanted to. The sky's the limit. When I've got a bankroll that big, I can really kind of play around with it, because again, I'm not putting much of my money in those GPPs because I'm not going to win those very often. Look at the size of some of these things. 15,000 people. Your odds of winning this are just not good. You would want to play this with a very small portion of your bankroll. I'm not saying don't play them, but a very small portion of your bankroll, because you're going to want to keep most of your money exposed to the safer, more easy to win contests. That way you're going to win a little bit more often. You're going to grind your bankroll up a little bit more often. And you are still exposed to these a little bit in case you hit the miracle lineup and explode for big money. Go for it. But put 80 to 90% of your money in the other stuff. That's how your pros are playing these days. They're very, very cash heavy. They're very lightly exposed. When you see a pro in all these GPPs, it's because his daily budget is enormous right now. He's got a lot of money he's leveraging out there. That's why he's not doing it with $100 and throwing $75 into GPPs. He's got $75 in cash games. He's throwing $25 around in GPPs. Okay? So what if I had a smaller budget, say $5? What would I do? Well, standard formula, $250, half of it goes in double ups. So I would honestly do $3. Round up. And I would come down here to a $2 100-man league, or 100-man 50-50, and a $1. Two and a $1. Bing, bing, there's $3. Now I've got $2 left to play with. I would probably come over here to the 100-player leagues, and I would probably put $1 in either a 3-man or $1 in a 10-man league, and then take the other $1 and throw it in a 100-man league, or one of these, single entry GPPs. I can do either one. It's more flexible than you think to use this little system. But, maybe not the 3 max. Well, maybe. Single entry, I'm going to win this 11,000 person 3 max theoretically more often than I'm going to win the 21,000 person tournament. So I'd put it in these. That's how I play. It's how I coach, my VIPs to play when they ask me these types of questions. If I only had $3, what would I do? Well, I'd do a $2 50-50 and a $1 100-man. Where are we? $1 100-man league. That'd be my $3. I'd have $2 for my 50-50, so that if I win it, I still win $1, and if I don't win the 100-man, I still net out $1 gain. However, if I get up in the 100-man, it doesn't really matter because the 50-50 pays me double my money anyway. So that's the idea behind the ladder. That's what I'm trying to accomplish. And then from there, if I had a $2 ladder, it'd be $1 in the 50-50 and $1 in the 100-man league, or $1 in the 10-man league, or $1 in the 20-man league, or whatever it is that I wanted to do with that extra $1. GPP doesn't really matter, because again, if that GPP or that upside type situation craps out on me, my $2 turned into about $4, and I still net a profit. So where would I do if I had $10? Would I run one lineup or would I run several lineups? Well, sometimes I do either one. I'll run one lineup and do the same 5-2-2-1 type structure off of the ladder I told you about in the beginning, or I will even do three-man or $3 ladders. I personally like running multiple lineups because I know that I'm taking multiple shots at these 100-man leagues. And if I'm taking multiple shots at the 100-man leagues, I'm taking 3 shots at it instead of 1. Then all I got to do is hit one of those, and the whole damn night's paid for because I only had $10 to begin with. I win $25. I'm good with that. On a lot of different nights, 2 of the 3 lineups will hit the 50-50s, or all 3 will hit the 50-50s, and then one of them will do well in a 100-man league, and I'll do really well those nights. That's okay, but that's going to come down to personal preference. Some people like just running one main lineup, and it is what it is. Other people like spreading it out a little bit, running 2, 3, 4, 5 different lineups and putting a little bit of money on all of them. If you're that type, you can break those up into little miniature ladders. There really is no right or wrong, no optimal strategy, no perfect strategy. It's really, a lot of this is going to come down to you're playing this game for fun. You're playing this game as a hobby. You're playing this game because you enjoy watching sports and accentuating what you get out of watching your sports. So make it fun. Play around with it a little bit. Keep the ladders the same structure, 50%, 20%, 20%, 10%, as best you can. And if you have to break them down into smaller and smaller pieces, do it. Not a big deal. It's not rocket science. You don't need to overthink it. If you need help with these types of conversations or these types of concepts, you come inside dfsarmy.com. You get access to the tools, the content, the coaching. You get access to me. I'll talk to you until my face is blue. Doesn't really matter. And I'll help you allocate your resources properly to turn you into a more competitive DFS player. That's my promise to you. You do that by finding the comment section down below, the like and the subscribe button, of course, to keep this content coming out to you. And You become a VIP. Use the coupon code CHOP to trigger 10% off, CHOP. Click that link in the comment section, come inside, and let's talk. All right, guys, I got to run back in here, talk to some of my VIPs. This has been a little bitty small edition of Chop Talk, a little bit of a ladder edition of Chop Talk. Loved having you. Hopefully you guys hit the like and subscribe button. Retweet me out there on Twitter when I post this out there. And we spread the word, spread the magic, spread the love, and we become better DFS players because of it. Thanks, guys.